Hey guys, my name is Sean, and here I have another computer store find. So I know nothing about it so far, but except for the fact that it's running a Pentium 4 3.2 gigahertz, and it most likely has 512 megabytes of DDR RAM. Now that's all I have told from just looking at it, and also that it has an Intel motherboard. I can tell by the green color and the heatsink in there. So we'll start on the outside. So we'll start on the back. Decent, half decent looking power supply, stickers, Australian assembled by Edisys Computers. There's where I found it out. It doesn't actually have hard drives because the computer store takes them out, obviously to protect customer data. PS2 serial, VGA parallel, 4 USB, Ethernet, and audio. Then there's like a Netcom dial-up modem there, and a little thing detailing exactly what everything is. So yeah, well, thank you for that. I could have just pointed to that and not have to bother explaining it myself. But the case is quite nice. We'll have a look at the front here. Express PC. So it's got an LG DVD writer, blank 5 1/4. So this is micro ATX. Then it has a floppy drive and a card reader, 2 USB, and audio jacks, mic, and headphones. Then this little cover goes over the audio, and slightly translucent, which is something I didn't notice before. And you can you can't see on the camera there, but and it's got little air vent sort of things there. There might be speaker holes, and then there's the power button, which is a power button. Back's plain, top's fairly plain except for this thing. Consult 1, it might have been, I'm not sure. Windows XP Pro key on the side, thank God I covered that up because I'm actually going to use this thing with XP Pro. So flip. One day, guys, I'll give you a key. One day. It's just I use most of the keys anyway. So we'll just unscrew this fella. We'll open him up, and we'll have a look. Then we'll just maybe that would help. We'll just pop them off. So like any usual side panel, it's got a fair bit of flex to it. It's fairly cheap. It's a nice case though, and it's got one of these things. And here's the rig, which looks surprisingly less attractive than I wanted it to. So there's an Intel motherboard in there. Smells like it's been used. Cobwebs or something. So as you can see here, all the devices. Evidently no hard drive. SATA, it has 2 SATA ports. 3 IDE, AGP, heatsink, CPU, which is probably a Pentium 4 3.2 GHz. Because it doesn't look like these things have even been opened there. Except for by the computer store. This is a stick of RAM. What? That's pretty sick. I've never had one of these before. So that's a DDR 400 megahertz. It's supposed to be a kit of 2, so they're obviously lazy and use the other one elsewhere. And so that's 512 meg of RAM. And SATA, it's got a little clip on it, which is pretty cool, I think. It's very compact there on the top. It's a bit tight, but it's not too bad really. Power supply there, I can't read that, so I'm going to pop that out. I want to know what power supply it's got. Because I may get like an X800 or something for this. So if my voice is a little broken, just family situation involving animals, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about me, guys, I'm fine. 120mm fan on the power supply there, which looks pretty good. That means it will stay nice and cool and quiet, and I love it when computers are quiet. Like, there's a certain level of noise which I call acceptable, and that is barely reachable by the 120mm fan in the back of my case, I should tell the truth. How am I supposed to get this power supply out? Maybe we gotta pop off the back panel here. Righto. You know what? Fuck. It's a fairly nice case, actually. I quite like it so far. And I'm going to keep it together and run it as maybe like a file server. but I'll definitely run it for something. Maybe like a vintage gaming rig or something like that. Get my hands on a good solid card on AGP. I know you can get up to like 3850s in AGP. I've seen a 3850 AGP before, and it can actually run Skyrim on a Pentium 4, which is pretty amazing. And but it's not like I'm going to be running Skyrim with this piece of fuck. Righto. Ooh, so the whole top panel array comes with it, and I imagine the power supply just pops out the top, because that would be how I would do it if you gave me this case design. Which, put you down for a second while I lift this up. Righto, this is intended to be worked on. Oh no, the top doesn't come off. Oh, but it does. Oh, that's a sneaky move, case manufacturer. It's a very sneaky move, and it's very weird. So, check this out. There's a whole top panel. That's kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird. Righto. Power man. I've got one of these power supplies. I've got a slim version of these, one of the minuet ones. I like these power supplies. I reckon they're good. Let's have a look at the 12 volt rail. So 12 volt is 216 watts. Okay. It's not much, but you know, it's enough to run a small low end card, which is all this will run. It's a file server intended rig, maybe. I'm gonna keep it in fairly original condition. May not take it apart too much. Just do a couple upgrades, dust it out a little. IDE DVD drive there. It's an LG model GSA H10N, if you wanted to know. This better not have cost $1,000. It's not advanced enough to cost $1,000, even back in the day. This would be like a $400 rig. Maybe $800, I reckon. So yeah, it's got a very dusty heatsink. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. So, not a bad rig overall. Make a solid rig for, speaker. Fuck. No. Just kidding. Don't mind speakers that much. As you can see here, we got the card reader on USB there. SATA. So I'll pop a hard drive in. I just got a message on Steam from Cuz. Power supply. So I'll screw this fella back in. And when I find out a use for it, I will attach it back together and get it running again. Anyways, guys, I hope you have all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all later. Goodbye, guys.